Hi, I'm Gary Jacobs, and welcome to another edition of Long Island Backstory. Today we're going to learn about the Mankind Project, which is an organization with a presence in over 21 countries and is growing. The way I found out about it is one of the members of our crew is a member of the Mankind Project, and he's been telling me about it and saying, hey, Gary, you got to come down. And, the way I looked at it, I thought, this is just a cult. I want nothing to do with it. He said, no, go on the website, read about it, and you'll see they do a lot of good things, and it's just growing in a lot of other countries. So I said, you know what? Let's bring on people from the Mankind Project, and they can tell us about it. So our guests here today, to my left, are Charles Bowers, and to his left is Terry Hulse from the Mankind Project. Welcome to the program, guys.
Thank you.
First of all, let's start off and tell me, what is the Mankind Project? You want to take that first, Charles? Or you want to let Terry take that first? Okay.
All right. Well, the Mankind Project was started about 30 years ago with three men who were involved with the feminist movement, and they said, we need something for men that really empowers men, encourages the mature masculine behavior, and they designed it after an initiation, and it's been growing since then, and right now they have 54,000 members across the world, and as you said, 21 countries, and it's been growing since then.
I think it's interesting because something that I've always thought of, we have the National Organization for Women, and they're a very powerful lobby, and everybody says, that's great, now, National Organization for Women. But there really isn't anything out there for men, and almost to some extent, when you talk about, well, we're going to have a man's organization, that's taboo. Don't do a man's organization. Why not? Why can't you have a woman's organization and a man's organization? You're not saying women are bad. You're just saying this is a man's organization. We have different issues, and we need to expand on them. Is this a nonprofit organization, or is it a for-profit? Because I see you sell some products on the website. Is this a for-profit or a nonprofit organization?
It's not-for-profit, 501c3, not-for-profit organization. They make most of their money by the entrance fee into the New Warrior training adventures that they run.
Which is how much around
about $650.
Okay, so it's not extraordinary, but it's a big. I was reading about the curriculum. It's just
a
lot goes into that.
And the thing is, we don't want to make it like a country club thing where you need the $650 for sort of the flagship, the training adventures that they run. They do a lot of scholarships, reduced fees, payment. Some men just don't have any money, so they get a scholarship. They get a free ride.
Okay.
Some men can do a payment. I know in our I group we connect with men, and they say, geez, I'd like to do the weekend, but I don't have any money. So we'll pay the initiation fee, which is $150. So it gets them on the weekend, and then whatever happens after that, they can work that out.
Okay. Where do you meet on Long Island?
Well, there's two groups on Long Island, one in Huntington and one in Riverhead. And there are groups in Brooklyn and Queens and other areas, but two out here in Nassau, Suffolk.
And where do you meet?
Well, Huntington was meeting at a man's wellness center for a long time. That's where I used to attend when I first joined the project. I would ride into Huntington once a week to sit in the I group, and we ended up forming one out in Riverhead, and so we meet out in Riverhead in the barn that's on my property. So.
Okay, great. And how often do you meet?
The regular members meet once a week, and once a month we open it up to any man who might be interested or looking to sit in a circle with mature men and maybe find out a little bit about the Mankind Project. And we have an open circle and anybody can come.
I don't know if this is something you can answer, but why is the Mankind Project only for men?
Well, because the Mankind Project has a sister organization for Women Within that is somewhat similar, but women have different issues. So they have their own organization, but this coming Sunday, this is I think the 6th time we'll have a circle that includes men and women.
Right.
And
but it's basically the men are part. It's only men.
You know, so you have men supporting men and women supporting women.
Right. Now, I've heard the Mankind Project referred to as the New Warriors. Why?
Well, you know, the old warrior was quite often in service to a tyrant king, and he was into raping and pillaging and getting what he wanted and using the earth for his own gain. And we want to look to the new warrior, and it's not a new age, you know, girly man or anything like that. It is a warrior, but it's a warrior in service to his community. And we look to some men as examples of the new warriors, even though they weren't in the Mankind Project. People like Nelson Mandela or Harvey Milk or Martin Luther King or Gandhi as examples of men who lived their mission to the fullest and in service to the community.
Right. Charles, I'm sorry, this one's for you. What's the shadow I keep hearing about?
The shadow. Oh, interesting. Well,
you got to remember, I know a lot about this because our crew member Don Caulfield tells me about it all the time. So I'll let you explain to me what the shadow is.
The shadow. Well, in the group we have a bunch of archetypes that we become intimate and embrace, and one of them happens to be the shadow. That's the magician side of us, and you know, you asked the question prior about, you know, why is it just the men there and everything like that. So, you know, to piggyback on that, you know, our motto is we help men grow up because the world needs grown-up men. So we do that in a safe container with men, because some of our issues will be with the women in our lives.
Right.
And what we have to do there is we do that in a safe place. The shadow comes out on the way to work, in the morning when you're irritable. You know, all different times the shadow comes out. That's the part of us that, see, I don't want to get too deep into it here, but it's the part of us that really looks to protect ourselves, but it comes out sideways in the world,
right,
and it causes damage
to
those around us.
So you got to teach the group talks about how to deal with this.
Well, we don't just.
The shadow is things that we hide, deny, and repress, and you know, one of the first people who talked about it was Carl Jung. And he dealt a lot with his shadows, and it's things that we put into darkness and hide that we don't want people to know about.
Right.
And it's
as men or just individuals?
Humans.
Anybody.
Anybody. Okay. So it's not really a man's issue. We deal with it differently,
right,
and we just hide different issues, I guess.
Right. You know, for example, you know, anger is, you know, usually a man's issue, right, and I may get angry at somebody, and if I don't have a healthy way to either vent it or work it out or take a look at it, and I keep stuffing it because that's what I was taught.
As a kid, that's what I taught people.
Don't get angry, all that stuff. And it's going to come out at the worst possible time, and I'm going to get mad at my boss and holler at my boss, and that's not good.
Right, right. So you're teaching people how to deal with it, at least talking about it,
right,
I guess. Is there an initiation to become a member? Is there a hazing type thing, or you pay the fee and anybody's in?
Pretty much, yeah. You pay the fee and you're in. But the initiation is not like the ancient initiation where, you know, the elders and the men in the tribe would come in and take the young men away. You know, they're screaming, the mothers are screaming, right, and they're often.
But I think there was some need for that to make people feel part of a group, that not just anybody got in.
Yeah.
It served a purpose back then.
Right.
There's also different processes throughout that initiation that bring the man present to each part of the next step of what's coming. So you get prepared for the integration groups, the processes we do weekly after, and we were going over that earlier. Like the initiation is just a smidget of what really where the work should be. It does get done eventually, because the work isn't just done one weekend. You're not done there. You know, that's just the preparation.
Right.
You know.
So this is a whole program for years. You know,
Well, depending on the man, yeah, on the individual man.
Yeah, for some men, you know, maybe they have one issue that's they're working on, and they go to the weekend and manage to find a solution and look at the deeper truth with that issue, and maybe they don't feel they don't need to continue on with all the training and what's available, and they said, I'm done. And that happens with some men. But for myself, I know that where the rubber hits the road is being able to sit in a group of men who know me, understand me, and are willing to support me to achieve my goals. And
so is it a support group too?
Yeah.
So you know that they're always there. What is emotional intelligence, and why does it matter? I know I'm giving you the hard ones, but I did read your website.
That's great.
That's all right. Well, you know, emotional intelligence is like mature masculine. Is a man who says what he means and means what he says, and doesn't say it mean. Right. That he's connected with his feelings. If he's feeling something, he can know whether he's mad, glad, sad, ashamed,
which has got to be
fear.
something that's pretty complex, because as men we're taught to hide our feelings.
Yes. You know, before I went to on my New Warrior training adventure, I was in a situation that I was very confused. I was in a couple of relationships. I was very confused. And if you asked me, so Terry, how are you feeling? I would say, how do you want me to feel? Because I didn't know. And this allowed me to connect, you know, honestly with my feelings.
Right. Now, I was talking to some people about the show prep and reading the website, and some of the things that came out were, well, when all these guys get together and they go together and they're talking about the problems with their wives, and this can destroy your marriage, somebody getting into the Mankind Project. Talk about that.
Well,
and I'm sure you've heard it too.
Yeah,
okay.
It's one of the questions that people often ask. And for me, it gave me a closer, more powerful, more intimate and loving relationship with a woman who became my wife.
What about somebody who's joining it, which I'm assuming some people are going through difficult times with their wife, and maybe that's why they join it, but does this maybe they come in, they get clarity, and they say, you know what, I'm not with the right person.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's construed, or...
And that happens.
Or do you say, hey, you should stay married?
No, we don't. We work very hard not to give people advice. We allow them to connect with the truth of what they really want.
Right. Okay. Now, at the beginning, I think, Charles, you talked about, you know, we're teaching men to be men and be with men and all this sort of, I think you may even mention the word masculinity, and I don't know if that was the word you used, but it seems like it's about men being tough. What about gay men? They're men. Are they welcome in the Mankind Project?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
everything is all are welcome.
Okay.
And part of being a real man and a real heterosexual man is we welcome all the men and love everybody and learn to love them where those blocks are, because men have those blocks, whether they be gay, African American, whatever, different. It's multicultural, so we learn what the truth is, what's really bothering us about different things about people.
Right. Now, what about religious? Is there a religious base? I saw a lot of stuff about seems to relating to like Native Americans and going back to tribal things.
Well, to a certain extent, we do connect with the ancient energies in that we use that to form a container strong enough to hold what any man brings, and we connect with the ancients and the energies, and it may be perceived as Native American, but all religions are welcome.
Right. So it's not a religious organization.
It has no affiliation.
It doesn't interfere with somebody's Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Muslim.
Anybody.
They're all. This can go hand in hand with that. I was reading on the website, and I know people talking about different animal names and giving each other names. How does that play in? You know, calling people different names and explain that.
Well, for me, it's connecting with an animal spirit that I identify with. I appreciate its characteristics, and my animal spirit that I've chose is gray wolf, because the wolf is a pack animal. It can't survive on its own. It's the gray wolf is a great parent, a brother, a member of this team that hunts together and lives together and teaches the children together. And it helps remind me to connect to the spirit and keep me grounded in the way I want to live my life.
Right. Now, I saw on the website, one of the things is talking about going to these retreats that we want you to carpool.
Right.
And they kept saying carpool, carpool, carpool. So, why carpool? You're doing it to save gas?
That's one reason.
Yeah.
Of course, hey, the gas prices are expensive. I'm sure there's more to it than...
We do our best to connect with Mother Earth and be green and stuff like that, but there's another piece. Go ahead, you do it.
Well,
At least trust the old man.
It's part of trusting other men. A lot of times men have not trusted other men. And for me, when this other fellow and I left the weekend, we had a lot to talk about on the ride home. And it was very energetic and animated, and we've connected and developed a friendship that's lasted forever.
So it's a bonding.
Yeah.
Just that carpooling is a bonding experience also.
It's not so you're stuck there.
Right.
Men, have left if they want to.
Right. And how long are the retreats? Is it just a weekend?
48 hours.
That's it.
That's it.
And that's once, and then you're in, or is it every year there's a retreat?
Well, each community usually has 2 or 3 a year, and by community I mean a regional area. We're in the New York metro area, includes New Jersey and some of Connecticut, and they have them 3 times a year. And the next one is in October, and this one is a Young Warriors adventure where it's geared towards men 18 to 35.
Right. Now, why should somebody get involved? Everyone's busy going through day-to-day life, and if they have problems, maybe they see a shrink, they have a friend at work, they talk to them, they complain about their boss, they complain about their wife, their girlfriend. Why should somebody join the Mankind Project?
We take, in my judgment, I've had my therapy, and I've been to the psychiatrist. My life isn't a secret. My life is an open book. I don't, But we take the work deeper. We let it go.
It's not just an hour with therapists and you're done.
It's not just that. The type of work we do, and it's based off of the Carl Jung and all that stuff with a lot of shadow work. We really we get to move the energy in a way like I've never had any experience. Okay, I've done a lot of work on myself prior to the project. I was mentored in by a man that I respected, and he's never led me wrong. I felt discomfort my first open circle. I wasn't really thrilled about going to this weekend. Mm-hmm. I liked the open circles a lot. I was getting a lot from them. I said, I'll do the weekend. And the weekend was intense, and it was what it was. But when I came back, I got to really do some work.
Right.
And with this gentleman here, Brother Don there, these guys, I trust them with my life. And I'm no longer, a little boy. Right. I consider myself a man in a way that I could speak about my feelings, be vulnerable, be honest, open, have integrity.
Is there like a confidentiality thing that what's said in the meeting stays in the meeting so people can feel safe?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Saying that you guys all get to trust each other.
But the thing is, this kind of work isn't for everybody, and that's why we hold the open circles, is so men can come and sit in a circle, as men have done for tens of thousands of years. And
so something symbolic about the circle itself.
Yes, and talk about what's going on. Some men say, this is not for me, but some men connect to this and want to go.
Well, give me some examples of some of the things somebody would talk about in the circle. What are some of the things that people bring up?
anything, money shadow, you know, trying to get work and they can't find work.
And what do you do? Somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I'm depressed. You know, the economy sucks. My wife just left me. You know, my dog. You know,
That's right. There you go.
You know,
That's it.
what do you tell me? You just what is it that you do for them?
Well, we allow them to see the parts of themselves that may be feeling sad, and we sort of pull that out of them so they can look at that, and there's messages associated with that. You know, my wife left me with you know, well, the message from that woman is that you're not good enough, you're not good enough for me, you're worthless, whatever. And whatever message that you get from that, and chances are they probably have heard that before at another time when they were young, and so once they hear that or inside feel they're getting that judgment, then they're stuck.
Right.
You know, if I try to attack the problem and I've already failed, the next time I try to attack it, I'm going to attack it as somebody who's failed,
Right.
and I'm not going to get anywhere. So they may need, I may need to connect to something with where I get my true power from.
So this is more, I guess what I'm getting at is an emotional support. You're not really so much giving advice, but you're just there, emotional support.
Right.
And I mean, with somebody, you have somebody to call. I mean, you guys have obviously become friends. I'm sure friendships, lifetime friendships would develop out of this group. But is there something set up, or hey, I'm feeling depressed today. Here's who you call this person, and
Sure.
Well, it's not organized. It's who you connect with. But
Okay.
you talked about calling people. We do these things which are called smart stretches,
smart stretches.
which is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timed. For example, I may say, you know, I haven't been working out lately. Now, if I commit, well, I'm going to go to the gym. Well, when? What are you going to do with the gym?
So you're saying it's almost like other men, your peers, are holding you
Yes.
accountable.
But only I can hold myself accountable.
Well, at the end of the day,
but if
you
I
can-
called Chuck and I said, listen, I'm going to go on the treadmill for such and such time for this long, you know, 4 times a week, and I'm going to call you at the end of the week to see that I've got it done.
Right.
And once I've made that commitment, I don't want to call him and say, I didn't
I'll
do
let you
squat
down.
all week.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Weight Watchers, where you know you have to show up on
Yeah.
a certain day of the week, and you're going to get weighed in, and they're going to see if you met your goal. I guess
Right.
this is sort of, you're setting your own goal, and then the group is sort of holding you responsible for that goal.
Well, we can only hold ourselves responsible. For example, one of the things that I developed is my personal mission to be of service in the world. So my mission is to create a world of unconditional love by doing God's will and to heal Mother Earth. That's a huge thing. I'm not going to create a world of unconditional love
Right.
overnight.
Right. But everybody can do that part, though.
But, you know, what am I doing today? Is that going to contribute to my mission?
So you're saying it's sort of giving you a goal in life?
Yes.
Is that what everybody's?
It's a mission.
Yeah.
Everybody.
What's your mission?
Well, my animal spirit is frolicking Wolverine.
Okay.
And I create a world of laughter and joy through sharing my gifts of joy and adventure.
Right.
So,
So you're sort of your goal is to pull. Obviously, you think this is a good thing because it's changed your life.
yeah, I mean, it's so much more freeing to be able to. You were going to ask a question.
Well, so I was going to say. So I mean, part of what you're doing is, I guess, I mean, you're passionate. You're both passionate about the Mankind Project, as is Donald, who's a member also. And you guys just all seem, so passionate that you want to share this, like you said, share the love, and you had sent an email. That's all you want to do is spread love in the world and make the world, I guess I think you said a better place, paraphrasing.
When I'm not in shadow.
Right, okay. Well, we could do that with TV, but in the reality, it's still going to always be there, though, right? So if somebody wants to get involved, they need a sponsor, they just show up, they go to how do they do it?
Well,
you have a website.
Well, when is it? The next? When's the next open?
Well, I don't know when the show's going to air, and it's going to be on the internet. So if somebody wants to find out when the next thing, they go to
I was going to say for you.
the website. Oh, okay, for me. Well, they go to the website,
Yes.
which is what?
mankindproject.org, and they can look under communities, or and that'll direct them to the New York Metro community, and that'll have it'll have a contact information there on that website.
And they'll reach out to somebody and then come down once and say, this is for me, it's not for me.
Right.
You know, because like you said, it's not for everybody. It may not even be the right time in somebody's life.
Right.
Go ahead.
I walked out my first one.
Uh-huh.
I walked out because I had, it was just,
Somebody brought you down?
someone brought me that I trusted, and I liked a lot of it, and then there were certain things that were going on, and I had a very closed mind in certain areas of belief systems, and I was afraid. I was afraid of the boogeyman, which was really nothing. I left, and then I had a conversation. The man that you had brought me, he was very concerned, and he's like, I didn't even know you walked out. I would have came and got you. Everything okay? I said, yeah. And then we spoke a little bit, and then I came back the next one, and I was like, and I've been in some places in life where you should be scared, especially in my youth, And
Well, when you think about it, what's there to be scared of? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Boogeyman. Right.
You have a bad experience.
Right.
What's a bad experience? It's a learning
yeah.
experience. I mean, you got how many members did you say? 59,000 across the world.
Yeah.
So there's got to be something to the organization. And it's interesting that you say you left, because for those people who say, well, this could just be a cult, in disguise, but like you said, you got up and you left, and Terry said, if it's not for you, it isn't for everybody. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's important. On the weekend or in the open circles or any time, a man is in charge of his own destiny. If he wants to leave or wants to pass on a process, he's allowed.
Right. So overall, the people who are married, how do their wives or girlfriends feel about this? So they say, hey, this is great, it made my husband a better man, a better husband, or are they intimidated by, hey, I don't like all these men talking? What's the...
When after the New Warrior Training Adventure is over, we have a homecoming, and the wives and daughters and friends come there, and they talk about the changes that they've seen in their husband.
Okay, so maybe just the fact that also that it's not the unknown, that you sort of hey, this is a good thing, and so you're finding that the women spouses are supportive.
A lot of women have sent their men on the New Warrior
Sent them
training.
back. Yeah. Say go out. Hey, maybe it's probably saved marriages then.
Yes.
Then too. Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for both coming and shedding some light. Sometimes this is a mysterious thing you read about, the Mankind Project, and people may be caught. I'm worried, a bunch of crazy guys who are pissed at their wives and hate women. It's nothing like that at all. And I know we just scratched on the surface because you didn't want some of the things to sound like they were crazy, because people aren't used to it.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you're missing something in life, hey, why not? Right? Go down. It's inexpensive. Less expensive than therapy, and if nothing else, I know two other men who are members of the Mankind Project, and they're both great guys. So, I could just take it from the people who were there. You guys seem to be caring people, and you just want to spread the word. Thank you very much, Charles, for coming. Thank you, Terry.
It was a pleasure.
Gary Jacobs, and thank you for joining us. A Long Island Backstory. For more information, go to the website on the bottom of the screen and read more about the Mankind Project.